Hey, welcome back to Heroes and Videos. Today we're going to be talking about some comics I picked up at the local comic shop a while back. Stick around to the end of the video. We're going to be looking at some pre-Frank Miller Daredevils. Back when Daredevil was trying to figure out what was going on. I've got some pretty cool ones in there. I would love for you to like the channel if you enjoy the content. Stick around to the end of the video if you want to hit like then, see if you like it or not. Love to have you subscribe to the channel. With no further ado, let's get right into it. This first one is from Mon Comics. Monsters on the Prowl. I think, Mon, you are a big monster comic fan. This is a reprint, I think, of some earlier Marvel with one of my favorite villains, Xemnu the Titan. I'm probably saying that incorrectly. I think it's Xemnu the Titan. Loved that character showing up in early Defenders books. It's just, yeah, really like that cover as well. I'm guessing it's Gil Kane, the way everybody's looking up. We're all kind of upwind of them, or they're looking down their noses at us, so I'm guessing that's a Gil Kane cover on this reprint of a book. Mon, that's MON Comics for you guys that haven't checked out Mon's channel. Been going through a tough time over there. Want to know, I was thinking about you, Mon, and I know my kids are grown, but I believe you have littler ones. I'm going to give you a dad joke for free here. So, and this is, Mon, you're not the only one that can use this. Anybody can use it. Free dad joke, okay? What do Winnie the Pooh and Dora the Explorer have in common? Let's sit on that for a minute. What do Winnie the Pooh and Dora the Explorer have in common? Cue the Jeopardy music if you guys want to fill out your answers real quick there. So I'll tell you, what do Winnie the Pooh and Dora the Explorer have in common? Same middle name. So I know it's pretty bad, but hey, what do you want? It's a dad joke. So moving forward, after that Monsters on the Prowl, we've got Detective Comics. Detective Comics 440. This is one of those books that, the 100-pager, 60-center DCs. Beautiful cover. That's just a really awesome cover. Honestly, I haven't read the Batman story in this book, so I don't know if that's a Grizzly or what coming at our hero as he's trying to rescue the chained damsel in distress. We've also got Robin, Hawkman, Dollman, Green Lantern, most of which are reprints from like the Golden Age, and an all-new Manhunter story, which is the other reason I picked it up. I've got a hard cover of that seminal Walt Simonson, Archie Goodwin run on Manhunter. Kirk Langstrom, that's another Kirk. Almost certain, Paul Kirk, I think, was the name of that character. And this has got the original, it's a short story. Those things were like 5 or 6 pages a piece, but it's part of that run. So I thought that was kind of neat between the cover and having the Manhunter. And it says all new Manhunter because there's actually a Simon and Kirby Golden Age Manhunter story in this as well. But I just thought that was just a beautiful cover, and it's a part of a detective run that I don't have a lot of. Speaking of runs, ooh, that could have gone badly. Incredible Hulk 213 closes a bit of a gap for me. I think this is this fills in pretty much Hulk 140-ish something through 300 plus for me. I think there might be a few in there I'm missing in the 200s, but that's just not a spectacular book. But I want to say Ernie Chan maybe doing the art on this cover. It does not say, and that's one of the few I did not look up on CLZ or open up before I started the video. It's the Quintronic Man. It's nothing super spectacular, but it helped me fill in on a Hulk run. Next up, Marvel Team Up. I love the first 25, 30 issues or so of Marvel Team Up. Honestly, let's go into 45 or 50 when they do that time travel story. These are just great. I started buying this book around issue 11 or 12. I want to say with the Werewolf by Night Team Up. Had those off the stands as a kid. Slowly built up the collection because it was kind of a neat run. Had the whole 150 issues at one point. I don't have all of those anymore. I'm looking through boxes here to see if they're somewhere, but this is one that's in really good shape. It's Spider-Man and the Thing, who, back here behind me on the wall, Spider-Man and the Thing both headlined some great team-up books from Marvel over the years. The Thing in 2-in-1 and Spider-Man in Marvel Team Up. I love the Puppet Master Mad Thinker team ups. They were a duo that kept showing up together, fighting villains, and so love that cover. It's also a Gil Kane cover. I believe this is going to be Gil Kane week as we go through this. But just great stories when Marvel was putting together these heroes, and in these team up books, and so those early issues of Team Up, particularly the first 20 or 30 issues, I think are just golden. The Teen Titans number 46. This is from the revival when, after the original book stopped and started a few times, it ran, I want to say, from 43 or 44 to about 51 or 52. Back when, just like with Warlock, they wouldn't necessarily start up again with a number 1. They just kept the numbering going. It is a Rich Buckler cover, which just kind of cool. It's a Earth 2 villain, I think the Fiddler, which is just a very bizarre villain to me, but just love anything Titans related, and so that's you notice Kid Flash in the background, and Speedy, and Donna and Robin in the foreground. So it just love Titans books, and that was one I had years ago. Don't have it anymore. Well, and now have it again. Speaking of books I had and now have again, Uncanny X-Men 238. This was just one that I didn't have in a run, and I went ahead and picked it up. It was super inexpensive, and so at some point filling in what I hope to be a pretty complete Uncanny X-Men run, certainly 94 up, or at least until I stopped reading it at some point back in the day. New X-Men books are very good, by the way, Uncanny and the regular X-Men title. You can check those out in my new comic book videos. The somewhat new series I'm trying to do here, last week's comics this week. So now we're up to some Daredevils. I picked up a lot of Daredevils. My son's a huge Daredevil fan. He's concentrating his run on 1 to 50. I'm trying to fill in some stuff from 50 up. And I found a number of them here pretty cheap. Daredevil number 76 there, Fly High, DD or Die. Don't know the artist on the cover. This is around the time Gene Colan was doing the book a lot. That's number 76. And then here are a few in a row. I loved these kind of letterbox covers that Marvel was doing for a while. And I can't tell you how much I love that the Marvel Comics group banner that was out there when I started reading Marvel Comics. And so for me, that's the ultimate in Marvel Comics, is having that banner at the top, that the on the headdress there, or the trade dress. That meant Marvel Comics when I was a kid. I don't know if it's like your favorite Doctor in Doctor Who, that whoever was doing it when you started, when you found it, is what you like, but that was the case for me. And this was a little before my time, but I do like the squared covers there. I know it does cut down the art. A lot of people don't like it for that reason. I love these Gil Kane covers. This is Daredevil taking on Scorpion. There was a period, and it goes back to even Daredevil 2, I think, had Electro in it. Daredevil was kind of trying to find his footing for many, many years until Frank Miller got a hold of him. But this was a period where he wasn't, they were trying to figure out what to do with the character for most of his run, or most of the time prior to Frank Miller's run. Another one of those kind of letterbox covers, this one with Black Widow. And all this and Mr. Hyde too. You'll see this is not Gil Kane, this is John Romita. Down here in the bottom, you can kind of tell from the face. And so this is where the first few issues that Daredevil and Natasha were getting together. It won't be long here. I think that was 83. Here's 84. We're back to Gil Kane. A lot of these villains were kind of hit or miss. The Assassin here. But again, beautiful cover. I just love the way the green and the blue and that yellow headline just kind of pops. And then by the time we get up to 93, though it happened a few issues before this, we've got Daredevil and the Black Widow as the title. It's one of the things I really loved about Marvel Comics when I started picking up, as we had Daredevil and the Black Widow, we had Captain America and the Falcon, and then if you did a little digging through back issues, you realize, hey, wait a minute, these titles weren't always called this. It was just kind of cool. It was the sort of thing that's like almost anything can happen. A character has title one month, and then all of a sudden it's joint with another character for years at a time, which was really cool. You know, and even after years after that, we had Power Man and Iron Fist. So I just love the fact that that they, you know, to me it was different. It was the kind of thing you didn't, at least for me, I didn't read a lot of DC at the time, so I didn't really see this sort of thing happening there. We still got the same trade dress. I'm going to guess again that this is Gil Kane, not because of the noses, but because the villain in the background's doing the thing where he's kind of, you know, he's lurching forward. That strikes me as kind of a Gil Kane monster sort of pose. So Daredevil 93, and again, love the colors on these books. They just, I mean, how cool is that? It's not anybody's key, or, well, every book could be somebody's key, right? But it's just, I just love the way that presents. It's just beautiful. That black background, the yellow and the red, and again the yellow and the lighting on the villain's suit. It just, yeah, love the covers on those books. The green on that Scorpion cover, all of that. And so now finally we've got pre-Frank Miller, very pre-Frank Miller, or just before Frank Miller, I guess. Daredevil 148. The Deathstalker, who I just loved as a villain when I was a kid, because you didn't know who this guy was. 40, 50-year-old spoilers here. The reveal is kind of a letdown, but he was a mysterious character. You didn't really know his powers. You didn't really, you know, which kept kind of changing. You didn't know who he was, except he seemed to know Daredevil. I really have a dislike for Daredevil. This cover is by Ron Wilson, Gil Kane. You know, happy Gil Kane week again, folks. Gil Kane did the art on the inside of the book. It's really cool because, I mean, Deathstalker shows up again for, I want to say, the final time about 10 years after this, which is around the time that Frank Miller's run got up and running. So this is kind of the last, some of the last Deathstalker before you get into that. And at this point, Daredevil wasn't floundering. I really enjoyed his stuff in the 110s, 120s, when they were kind of toying with the Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of thing a little bit between him and the Black Widow. It just seemed, you know, the art was usually on point. Klaus Janson doing a lot of the inks, Gil Kane doing the art. So it was a good book. It just hadn't really found its... it really just hadn't found its groove, if you will. The kids still saying groove until Frank Miller got a hold of it. But I still enjoy these old Daredevil books. Daredevil was always, I know he's become a bit of a ladies' man over the years, and that's become kind of a shtick with him. But Daredevil was always cool, you know? Even when he was having to face goofy villains like the Jester and stuff, I mean, he could still face off against Mr. Hyde and Cobra. And you know, kept his cool, and you know, Daredevil was always a cool character to me. So and I'm really looking forward to that next season of his show. And that's it for this week's old comics pickup. Let me know what old comics you're collecting and reading. Are there any runs you're trying to fill in? That was very helpful for me on Daredevil. It didn't complete anything, but you know, it's just takes a little time. But you stack those comics one after another, right? Kind of like those Rams wins I was talking about in a recent video. So with that said, please let me know in the comments what books you're reading, what old comics you're into. We'll have a new comic video up here shortly. In the meantime, keep reading comics, keep going to see movies, and be kind to each other.